What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee&Toys here. It is Friday, and that means it is new comic book review day here on the channel. And thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button down below, set it to all notifications so you never miss a comic or figure review. That being said, I'm Mark with Coffee&Toys. Glad to hang out with you today on Friday. And yes, like I said, today we will be reviewing the latest and final issue of Cobra Commander of the miniseries presented by Image Comics Skybound Entertainment. I've got my issue right here. Let's talk about it. But before we jump into that review, let's talk about the coffee I am drinking today. Again, it is from coffeebrandcoffee.com, coffeebrandcoffee.com. Hit them up if you like coffee that is double caffeinated, if you like hot cocoa, if you like really cool gear like this mug right here. They have it all. It's a great American business. And if you go there right now and you use the promo code Coffee&Toys, that's COFFEENTOYS, or use the link in the description down below, you can save yourself 5% on your first order or your 50th order. You'd be helping my channel out and you'd be supporting a great American business. Now, one thing I don't mention a lot about Coffee Brand Coffee is that they do have a subscriber club called Roasters Club that I am a part of. And if you go there today, you can get your first month 50% off. That's right, $12.50. You get coffee delivered directly to your door, and it's a different flavor every month. This particular month, I believe we have the Ethiopia Colombia blend. It is very good. It is a dark roast. But yeah, it can come to you ground or not ground, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Whole bean. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, coffeebrandcoffee.com. First month of the Roasters Club is 50% off. Every month after that, $25. Make sure you use that promo code. But with that, let's get into today's review of Cobra Commander issue number 5. Okay, let's just jump right into it. Cobra Commander issue number 5 of this 5-part limited series is once again written by the awesome Joshua Williamson, artist Andrea Milena, colorist Annalisa Leone, letterer Russ Wooten. And I just want to take a moment to congratulate that team, because between Cobra Commander and Duke, this is some of the finest reading and drawn G.I. Joe I've seen in a long, long time. As someone who's been reading G.I. Joe comics since they came out, this team is putting such a great new spin on a classic franchise. So thank you, writers, artists, letterers, colorists, all of you for working on this project. Thank you so much. But going back into the issue, this is the final issue, and the issue starts by showing various Mars Industries facilities completely decimated across the U.S. I think we have like 4 or 5 different places that are just completely laid to waste. No one's left no one's left alive. And we cut to Destro and Mercer actually on hand at one of these facilities. And Destro's angry, saying, okay, this is starting to cause some serious issues. Who is doing this? We have to stop them. And Mercer says, well, the interesting thing on this particular site that we're at is no one stole anything. They actually left us something. And he brings up someone that's wearing a cloth sheet over their head. He pulls it off, and it's Dreadnought Ripper. Dreadnought Ripper is scared that he's going to be killed, and he says, I've got a message to give you, and he hands Destro a note that is an invitation to meet the person behind these all this destruction of Mars properties. So Destro says, let's load up, let's go see what this person wants. So now we see Destro and Mercer, Dreadnought Ripper, and a battalion of troops flying in a Mars helicopter, and they land on a street in a small town that is just completely deserted. There's no one around. Destro, Mercer, the troops, Ripper all get off the plane, and they're walking down the street when suddenly this device pops up and lasers begin firing. And Destro actually responds, are those lasers? As his pretty shiny mask gets caked in blood as one of his troopers gets shot. Then all of his troopers are scrambling, and in the end, all we're left with is Mercer, Destro, and Ripper. Off panel, we read someone comes up and says, I see you got my message. And voila, it is none other than Cobra Commander. Mercer immediately grabs Cobra Commander and picks him up by his neck and says, "I'm going to kill you." And Cobra Commander squeaks out, "I've allowed you both to live, and this is how you repay me. You are my guest." And then he further goes along to say, "Don't you think I probably have guns aimed at your heads right now?" And so Destro says, "Mercer, put him down." Mercer reluctantly agrees, drops Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander approaches Destro, and Destro's like, "Why am I here?" And Cobra Commander says, "I hear you are the best of the best when it comes to arms dealers. You supply everyone in the world. And I'm sort of a salesman in that aspect myself," which I thought that was a very cool callback, and also the meme of William Dafoe from Spider-Man. But anyway, he says this, and he says, "Destro, follow me." So they begin following Cobra Commander, and they return to Cobra Commander's lair, lab, whatever you want to call it, and Cobra Commander introduces Dr. Laszlo Vandermeer, who, if you may recall, is the scientist from the opening issues of Cobra Commander that was being held prisoner by the Dreadnoks that was working on the Energon in the swamp. Dr. Laszlo greets the trio, and then he looks at Mercer and says, "Please kill me." And I mean, this guy must be having a rough life if he's asking Mercer to kill him. Cobra Commander then goes on to tell Destro that Dr. Laszlo has been given the freedom to explore this forbidden science and to help lead Cobra Commander's plans forward. Very interesting how Cobra Commander spins that. They are walking through, and as they're walking through, they come up to a battle android trooper, and Cobra Commander says, "This is one of yours, isn't it, from Mars Industries?" "It's okay, it's adequate, but we can make it much, much better." And he then begins pumping Energon into the chest of the bat. And Destro, amazed, says, "What kind of power is this?" And Cobra Commander simply responds, "Mine." Cobra Commander is just totally badass. So they return above ground. Oh, I guess I should say, while they're down in the lab, Cobra Commander's saying, "I've been watching all these different factions trying to vie for power and allegiances, and I want to unify them all." And on the screen behind him are pictures of Destro, the twins, the Dreadnoks, Storm Shadow, and I believe there's somebody else too, and I can't think of who it is off the top of my head. But anyway, the upper echelon of Cobra, or what will probably become Cobra. So they go back above ground, and at this point there's a whole bunch of men milling around with guns. And as they're milling around, another bat comes flying out of nowhere, and I'm assuming this is the bat that just got pumped full of Energon, and it begins unloading on all these individuals with weapons, instantly killing them. Destro's shocked and says, "Why would you kill your own men?" And Cobra Commander just kind of gleefully says, "There's always more where that came from, and besides, hate and fear are useful for keeping people in line." Again, showing just how sinister this version of Cobra Commander is. Cobra Commander then reveals to Destro his desire. He needs Destro and Mars Industries' weapons and technology at his full disposal if he is going to attempt to do what Cobra, or what will become Cobra, does best: try to take over the world. Destro says, "If I'm going to be in this alliance with you, I need some sort of assurances that, I need my scientists to look at this energy because I've never experienced it." And Cobra Commander basically says, "Hey, I'm good with that idea." And he says, "A new world order is coming, and it will soon be in my grasp." And as soon as he goes to shake Destro's hand, Destro reaches out to return it and says, "Our grasp." And Cobra Commander slyly says, "Of course, of course." Then another bat lands beside Cobra Commander, and he has a set of gear for Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander begins taking off what I call the old snake outfit, the large brimmed hat, the trench coat, and he begins putting on this new outfit. And he as he's doing so, Destro goes, "Just who are you?" And then we get a beautiful panel of Cobra Commander in full Cobra Commander. his full, what we know Cobra, basically he's that guy over there. But he's got the cape on, and he simply says, the future. Again, Cobra Commander has a plan. Cobra Commander then triumphantly marches into what looks like either a church or a large hall. And as he's walking up, he tells Destro, I need to show you my secret weapon. So he walks up to the podium, and when he walks up there, he starts addressing this congregation of people, and he says, you're all looking for some sort of meaning, some sort of purpose, and I too was once lost, and only through severe pain and suffering did I realize what I am truly capable of, and together we will create a new world. And says, as a flag unfurls down behind him, showing the Cobra logo, he says, we are Cobra. And of course, everybody starts cheering, and everybody's got guns. And one of them even kind of looks like Xandar. I'm not 100% sure, but one of them really looks close to Xandar. And that pretty much ends this section of the comic. Now, there is kind of I won't call it an epilogue, but there is a separate part, and we'll go into that right now. We go back to Cobra-La, and Globulus is surveying the science lab area of his domain. It's completely destroyed, and he is beside himself in anger. And he says, we should have never allowed Cobra Commander to be here and be doing this kind of work, and allowing this this blasphemous metal monstrosity to ever have been here. And if you recall, and you watched either picked up the Free Comic Book Day G.I. Joe Transformer Void Rivals special, or listen to the review here on this very channel, you will know that Megatron actually broke free of Cobra-La and burst out of the mountain and flew away. So this picks up immediately after that. Globulus, beside himself, says, what are we going to do? What our next steps? We need to send somebody else after Cobra Commander, because Pythona has said Nemesis Enforcer hasn't checked in for 2 days. I'm afraid that he's failed. Globulus says, then we do need to send out somebody else to go find Cobra Commander, because I want him dragged back here so that I can squeeze the life out of him myself. And then Pythona says, I will explore the source of these metal invaders. And she then takes a group of royal guards with her, and they start approaching this ginormous bug-looking thing. And if you actually remember from the 87 G.I. Joe cartoon movie, these giant bugs are actually ships they're actually transports. So they're going to this alien bug spaceship thing, and she says, as they're loading on it, she says, if this empire of steel wishes to take what is ours, I will uncover their history and their weakness. And on the final page, we see that alien ship flying out of Earth's orbit, and she ends with saying, and take this war to the stars. And the issue ends. Cobra Commander, issue 5, ends on that note with Cobra-La going into space to look for the Transformers, Cobra Commander having officially formed Cobra, Destro by his side, and wow, this has been such a ride. I mean, Cobra Commander has been just amazing in every aspect. I love that they've taken things that, Cobra-La is a pretty, divisive thing in the G.I. Joe community. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't, not a lot of people in the middle. But the way they have integrated Cobra-La into this Energon universe is spectacular. And straight up right now, I'll say it, Joshua Williamson is doing the best G.I. Joe writing that I have read in a long, long time. Between Duke and Cobra Commander, such a solid story, such a re-envisioning of both G.I. Joe and Cobra, that especially with making Cobra Commander so gritty, so sinister. This is a man who runs a terrorist organization. This is a man who is determined to rule the world. And bringing in Destro, I cannot wait till next month's Destro comes out. That being said, this has been a fantastic miniseries. If you haven't had a chance to pick it up at your local comic book shop, I implore you, please do so. Next month, The trade paperback for Cobra Commander and Duke, issues 1 through 5, come out. Go pick that up at your local comic book shop. Support local business. Show Skybound Entertainment, Image Comics, that G.I. Joe, that these teams writing these new series, and A Real American Hero. Show them with your dollars that we want this kind of stuff to stay around for a long time. Because I'm telling you, I don't read a whole bunch of comics anymore. I'm reading more now, obviously, than I used to. But man, this is some great storytelling. If you love G.I. Joe, if you love Cobra, you need to be reading this stuff. And it's going to tie more into Transformers. It's going to get really excited. It's got me excited to pick up more issues of Transformers because I want to see what happens between Cobra-La and the Transformers as much as I want to see what's going to happen between Cobra and G.I. Joe. But with that being said, if you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me, listening to this review. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit that subscription button down below. Use that promo code Coffee&Toys on your next purchase at coffeebrandcoffee.com. And with that being said, I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later.
Let's go.